If a woman genuinely cares about you, you'll feel grounded. If she's playing you, you'll feel addicted, anxious, and off balance. Most men confuse that anxiety for attraction, and that's exactly how they get played. It's late, quiet in that way that makes your thoughts louder than the room. You've replayed the same moments again. That text she sent, then didn't follow up on. The way she's warm one night, distant the next. How you catch yourself checking your phone, even though you promised you wouldn't. If this is you, you're not crazy. You're just tired of not knowing where you stand. Maybe this hits closer than you expected, because part of you already feels it. That weird pressure in your chest when her name pops up, the hesitation before you reply, not too fast, not too slow. The way you tell yourself, she's just busy. Even when your gut says something's off, you remember the small stuff, how she opens up when she needs something, then disappears right after, how you feel solid when you're with her and restless the moment you're alone. And you hate that about yourself, because you weren't always like this. You used to be calm, grounded, certain. Now you're asking questions you avoid saying out loud. Is she actually into me, or does she just like knowing I'm there? Am I building something real, or just being kept around for convenience? There's regret hiding under the surface too. Moments you wish you handled differently. Times you ignored your instincts because you didn't want to lose her. Because losing her felt worse than losing yourself, at least for now. And that's the part nobody talks about. The slow trade, your peace for uncertainty, your confidence for hope. So let me ask you something, and don't answer it fast. When you picture her caring about you, do you feel calm and steady? Or do you feel hooked, anxious, always waiting for the next hit of attention? Because the answer to that question might tell you everything you're trying not to see. Let me talk to you like an older brother for a minute. Not hyped, not trying to sell you anything, just steady. Most men get this wrong because they're looking for proof instead of patterns. They wait for words, compliments, big emotional moments. But real care doesn't show up loud. It shows up consistent. You remember how it actually feels, sitting in your car after dropping her off. Engine still running, that quiet question creeping in. And did that bring me peace or did it leave me restless? Here's where guys slip. They think tension means chemistry. They think anxiety means desire. They think uncertainty means they're almost there. It doesn't. A woman who genuinely cares doesn't keep you guessing where you stand. She doesn't disappear right after things feel close. She doesn't only show up when it's convenient for her. That doesn't mean she's perfect. She might be flawed, late sometimes, bad at expressing herself, but her presence feels steady. You don't feel like you're walking on ice. Think about the small moments, how she reacts when you don't text first, what happens when you say no, how she treats your time when there's nothing she needs. Most men ignore those moments because they're quiet, but that's where the truth lies. Here's a principle most guys don't want to hear to. If a connection costs you your calm, it's already too expensive. Another one, care creates clarity. Games create loops. If you're always adjusting yourself, your tone, your timing, your words, trying not to mess it up, that's not connection. That's performance. And performances end the moment the audience gets bored. You don't need to confront her. You don't need to test her. You just need to notice how you feel when you stop trying. So ask yourself this honestly. When you pull back and stand solid in yourself, does she step closer with consistency? Or does everything suddenly feel cold and conditional? That answer doesn't lie. It's quiet in the room, not peaceful quiet. That kind where the fridge hum feels loud and the air feels heavier than it should. Your phone lights up, then goes dark. No message, just the screen waking up like it's checking on you or mocking you. You think about last week, her sitting across from you, leg tucked under the chair, fingertips tracing the rim of her glass. She smiled when you talked, leaned in, said, "I really like this." You believed it. Later that night, the silence stretched longer than it should have. You stared at the ceiling, ran the conversation back, wondered if you said too much, or not enough, or something that shifted the air without you noticing. That's how it always starts, not with drama, with doubt. You remember the pause before she replied the next day, long enough for your chest to tighten, short enough for you to tell yourself you were overthinking. She's just busy. You've said that line so many times it feels rehearsed. There's a moment that keeps coming back, you pulling away slightly, not on purpose. Just tired, and her energy changing colder, shorter, like something invisible shut off. You felt it in your body before your mind caught up. That subtle drop, like missing a step in the dark, and that's when the question hits. Not loudly, quiet, dangerous. Do I feel chosen here, or am I just being kept close enough not to leave? A woman who cares doesn't make your nervous system feel like it's on edge all the time. She doesn't turn closeness into a reward you earn by behaving right. You know the difference. You've felt calm before. This isn't that. So sit with this right now. No defending her. No blaming yourself. When you stop leaning in, when you stop adjusting, when you just stand still as you are. Does she move closer because she wants you? Or does everything fall apart the moment you stop feeding the connection? A lot of men get stuck here because of beliefs they never chose. They just pick them up quietly over time. One of the biggest ones is this idea that confusion means chemistry, that if she keeps you guessing, it must mean something real is happening. But think about the moments that actually mattered in your life, the friendships, the work you were proud of. They didn't make you anxious every 5 minutes. They felt solid. Here's the truth most guys don't want to sit with. If it costs you your peace, it's not passion, it's a warning. Another belief sounds noble, but wrecks you slowly. If I just show her how patient and understanding I am, she'll see my value, Doss. You've probably lived this, explaining her behavior to yourself, giving the benefit of the doubt, again and again, until one day you realize you've been shrinking to stay close. Someone once said it perfectly. You don't lose her, you lose your own presence. And maybe the most dangerous belief of all, that attention equals care texts. Late night calls, little breadcrumbs that keep you hooked. But attention is easy. Anyone can give it when they're bored or lonely. What's rare is consistency. What's rare is respect.
Yes.
Attention is cheap. Respect is priceless. She didn't ghost you. Ours, you disappeared from yourself, Doss. This isn't about blaming her. It's about waking up slowly and noticing when a connection asks you to abandon who you are. The 1% headman doesn't see this situation the way most men do. He doesn't ask, how do I keep her? He asks something quieter, heavier. How do I stay myself no matter what she does? This is what he understands. Care doesn't need to be chased. It shows up on its own. This is how he leads, with presence, not pressure. When the replies slow down, he doesn't spiral. He doesn't start crafting the perfect message in his head. He goes about his day, finishes what he started, hits the gym, handles his work, sleeps clean, not because he's pretending not to care, but because he refuses to abandon his center. Most men panic when uncertainty shows up. The 1% headman pauses. He notices how she moves when he stops leaning in, not to test her, just to see reality without noise. He chooses patience over panic, silence over explanation, clarity over hope. If she cares, she steps closer without being pulled. If she's playing, the connection thins the moment he stops feeding it. And he accepts that without bitterness. This is what separates him. He doesn't confuse intensity with depth. He doesn't confuse attention with respect. He knows this one truth and lives by it quietly. Anything that requires you to chase it is already running from you. So he stays steady, grounded, present. And whatever stays, stays for the right reason. It happens in a small moment, not dramatic. You're alone, sitting on the edge of the bed, phone face down this time. The room smells like stale air and detergent. Night light leaking through the blinds. You remember how you used to wait, count minutes, read messages like they hit a secret code. There's a flash, her laughing while you leaned in. Another, her silence when you finally pulled back. Your chest tightens, then loosens. Just a little. You realize you're tired, not of her, of leaving yourself every time things feel uncertain. A thought slips in, quiet, almost embarrassed to be there. I don't have to earn calm. You breathe, longer than usual. The phone stays still, so do you. And something shifts, like setting down a weight you forgot you were carrying. You don't feel angry. You don't feel victorious. You feel solid, whispered, barely audible. I choose me tonight. Then the heavier truth lands. Anyone who needs you smaller to stay was never meant to stay at all. You feel it in your chest first, that quiet, that space you made for yourself. The phone still, the room still, the hum of the fridge, your own heartbeat. She steps closer, or she doesn't. Doesn't matter, because you're no longer shrinking, no longer adjusting, no longer losing yourself in someone else's chaos. The truth lands heavy. Care shows up steady. Games crack under patience. Respect can't be borrowed. And the line that stays with you long after the night is ours. If she really cares, you'll know, without bending, without chasing, without losing yourself.